is a great tune for beginner guitarists all the way up to intermediate guitarists. You can actually do some pretty cool things on the acoustic guitar. The song basically has sort of 6 or 7 chords. They're all sort of regular open chords, G's, D's, A minors, E minors, but you also have some chords with different basses, right? So like, right? Now, what we're going to talk about first is the 2 basic strumming patterns that happen in the song. Now, throughout the song, you could play this roughly the same kind of thing if you're only just starting out, but the aim is obviously to make it sound a bit more like the song. So what we can play is this. Now, the trick of the strumming always is never to be flailing around, right? So always just try and make sure the arc of your hand is sort of within the range of the strings. That way you'll never hit the wrong string, because what we're going to try and do here is hit bass. And there's going to be some different basses as we hit the chords, and we'll talk through that. But if you're kind of coming from here and trying to hit that string, you might miss it and go, you know, and it'd sound crap. So try and make sure that the arc of your hand is not too much greater than the strings. That's the first thing. And how you do that is by basically resting your hand and letting your wrist do the work. Okay? So we've got a G major. Now I'm playing G major like this today with my first finger free, and you'll see why that is in a second. You might be used to doing this, but we're going to need to use our first finger for some other stuff. So it's worthwhile learning it this sort of other way around, if you know what I mean. So instead of 2, 1, 3, 3, 2, 4. Okay, sounds exactly the same, obviously. Okay, so those strumming patterns. When we've got a full bar of just one chord, we're going to go bass, down, up, down, up. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, and when we've got a bar of 2 chords, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So you can hear it's slightly different. So the first strumming pattern, we missed the 3 of the bar, and the second pattern, we're going to hit the 3 of the bar. So let's just walk through the chords, and then we'll practice it together and you'll see what I mean. So the first line is G, E minor, C to G over B, and then an A minor. And this is in the intro when you hear that lead guitar. So we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay? So let's work on that. We've got a G and then an E minor. Same pattern for both of those, and then we've got this thing where we're going to play C, and then you put your second finger on the B, the second fret of the A string, and then you're going to go to A minor. Okay, so what you can see there is that every single time I'm hitting the bass before I do the strum. So the bass of a G major is a G. The bass of an E minor is an E. Bass of a C major, see what I'm going, C, and then G over B. I mean, I know it's just really like a G sus for advanced guitar players, but let's call it G over B, and then A minor. Okay, so the bass of the chord is always the name of the chord, unless you have like G/B, in which case it's a B. All right, so that happens twice, and then the song starts off and it's exactly the same. C, B, A minor, G, E minor, C, B, A minor, and then we're going to hit C, G, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then D, and then A minor, C, G, D, then round again. Okay, now this whole section goes around twice at the beginning. E minor, C, G, D, E minor, A minor, C, G, D. Okay. Then we hit the bridge. Now in the bridge, this is where you're going to use your first finger in this G. You're basically going to play. Okay, so what that is, down, down, up, up. All right, so let's get that first. Down, down, up, up. One more time. Down, down, up, up. Then put your first finger on the first fret of the B string, making it a C. Hear that? Like a sus chord. And then come back. Okay. Okay. Right. And then it does this like walk up. The guitar does a walk up. So this is something for the intermediate folks. So. Right. Now what I just did there, I played a low G, then an A, then a B, and we're going to go into the C major chord. So you get this. Right. So you can hear a bit more of a sort of American country sort of vibe going on there. So we've got one. And then C. Now, what you'll see is on the chart we've got a C with a G and bass. If you want the chart, by the way, go to www.simonmorell.com/free-chart and I'll send you the chart. So we've got C, and then your third finger is going to move. You can do it that way, or you could play third finger, fourth finger, second finger, first finger, like that. And then you don't have to move. Okay? I like to move. I find it focuses my mind and makes sure my right hand hits the right strings. That might be rubbish, I don't know, that's just how I do it. So C, G, C, G, right? And then we hit a G. Same thing as we had in the walk into this section. C, G bass, C, G bass, E minor, G. And then the guitar solo, which is basically exactly like the intro. Saxophone. Now here the chords change a little bit. C. Now also it does that, continues that country kind of. Right? So how that works is I'm playing C, then I switch the bass, G, then a D, then I switch the bass to an A, and then an E minor, switch the bass to a B, second fret of the A string, and then A, E. Just run through that again. You get C, G, D, A, E minor, A minor, sorry. Then C major, D major. And then you go back to the beginning of the verse and you play another verse from. Now we're going to go through all this. A minor, then C, G, D. All that and all that water. C, G, and now here we go to the coda and it plays the bit as if it's going to go into that bridge. Right now, instead of going, it goes to a C. So you get, and then, okay, so that's C, C with a G bass, D, then G, E minor, C, G, D, and then outro, which is the same as the intro. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, so that little last section where you have the coda, rather, I should name it properly, G, and then C, D, G major. Now, so the lyric is the same there as in the last line of the verse when it goes E minor, A minor, but he's just changed the chords around and changed the melody a little bit. Just to repeat the line so that you it goes in your head and you know what the song's about. G, E minor, C, G, D major, G. Bum, 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 bum. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. All the best. Bye.